So I was gonna go ahead and wait till tomorrow, but I'm gonna just go ahead and do 2 videos for part 2, because it's quite a bit. They'll probably end up being about maybe a total of 10 parts to this video, or to my story. So let's go ahead and move forward to, I say April 15th. Now, mind you, I've been harassed at different bars, even grocery stores, just going out random places, doing, everyday things that I always did. I like to go out with my friends, but it got to the point where I really couldn't even do that without being harassed by different men, mostly older black men, since Thomas is older. Thomas is 50 years old. So it was mostly older black men at first, but then his word started to spread. Then it started to be younger black men. Then I even had a few white guys that joined in on the harassment at the gym and outside of the gym. So, and all of it due to Thomas being upset that I no longer wanted to talk to him. So let's fast forward to April 15th. April 15th, I was out with an associate of mine and some of her friends. They're all older women. I think they all, for the most part, have kids my age, and some of them have grandkids. But this is not out of the norm for me. These are some of the people I hang with on a regular, or at the time. Most of the people I hang with, though, are older or have kids my age. These are just people I vibe well with. So, April 15th, we had kind of a ladies' day, went and got food. Then we just wanted to go have a drink, relax. So, and we're allowed to do that, have some fun, have a few drinks with the girls. So we ended up at Platform Lounge, which is on Country Club in Main Street here in Columbus. When we first got there were a few older guys that came over, and were kind of bugging me, wanting to buy a drink. And I'm like, no, I can buy my own drink, And he's like, well, why? And I kind of brushed it off because at this point I was kind of used to the harassment, or whatever, and things like that. So I brushed it off. The night goes on. The night was fun. It was just us hanging out and talking, having drinks. Now, I'd say midway through the night, I had noticed one of the security guards. He was a shorter, younger gentleman. He had on all black. He either had braids in his hair or dreads, and he had on a black toboggan. There was a taller but younger, still younger guy with him, and he had either like short singles or short dreads, and he had on, and he was probably like dark brown skin. And he had on like a red blazer, some sort of like funny looking red blazer. And then there was another guy with them. They kept trying to get my attention, and I would just kind of brush them off and walk on. That night, there was also a shorter, older gentleman who kept kind of hovering around me and my friends, but he wasn't focused on just me. He was trying to talk to just have conversation with all of us. Light-skinned older gentleman with long braids. He was on the shorter side. So I really didn't pay no attention to him because he wasn't just focused on me. He was trying to conversate with all of us. But these 3 gentlemen, younger gentlemen, it was obvious that they were focused on me. Now, mind you, I'm a tomboy for the most part. Most of the time when I go out, I don't really dress up too often. Here and there I will. But that night I had on some all black solid jeans, all black t-shirt, and a long jean jacket, like a jean jacket longer than this one, and sports slides. So there was nothing about me that night that was appealing, nothing that would have, jumped out at somebody to be like, oh yeah, let me try to talk to her, especially not when there are women walking around with short skirts and dresses and, fishnet stockings. I'm not the one who would have been picked out of the crowd. I was targeted that night, especially with sports slides on. And these 3 were focused on me. So I remember going inside looking for my friend. These 3 gentlemen followed me inside. When I realized I didn't see her, I turned around to go back outside on the patio. The one in the red blazer actually goes to grab my hand, and I pull away from him, and I'm like, no, I'm not interested. You know, I kept having to tell this throughout the night, that I'm not interested. And so the shorter one that looked like he was a security guard just kind of kept rolling his eyes. He was getting frustrated because I'm not giving him any attention. So I go on about my business, brush past him, go outside. I remember going to the restroom. After coming out from the restroom, you know, I remember returning to my drink. That night, I only had a total of maybe 3 drinks that night, maybe 4 at the most, which is not a lot for me at all. I ended up blacking out. I don't remember leaving the bar. I don't remember how I got home. All I remember is the next morning I woke up in my own bed, though. I didn't have on any underwear. I didn't have any pants. I didn't have on any underwear. And my pants were on the opposite side of my room. And the way they were rolled up is as if somebody had pulled them off of me. So I wake up, I was kind of dizzy, had a headache, which definitely wasn't normal for me. My bathroom light was on. My front door was unlocked. My cell phone was like on my couch. And, you know, my mind was racing. I'm like, you know, what happened? Everything was just out of the ordinary. Like, I still had on all my jewelry and stuff, and that's just definitely not like me. Most people know I always have on a scarf, so I would have put that on before I laid down. Definitely would not have still had my jean jacket on. So, you know, I'm trying to convince myself, like, no, nobody would do that to me. That's just foul. Nobody. Especially not with what I had on that night. You know, nobody would have been worried about me. So, anyways, fast forward to a little bit later in the day, I ended up calling a friend of mine and telling her that I think somebody did something foul to me. She was like, well, we need to go to the hospital. So we ended up going to Riverside, which is close to her. And I had a rape kit done. Spoke to a detective about what had happened that night, what I remembered. And, you know, I just kept trying to convince myself. I was in denial at first about it. You know, I just kept telling myself, like, no, nobody would do that to you. You know, maybe you fail or something like that. Maybe that's where, you know, maybe you fail. Maybe that's where some of the pain is coming from, like in my abdomen. And yeah, because I checked my phone. I had no text messages from any unknown numbers, no phone calls, nothing out of the ordinary. It was just text message from the people I was with that night. So, you know, I sent all of them messages, and I'm like, you know, who did I leave with? Did I leave with you? I'm asking more questions. All of them answered my questions. You know, there was nothing out of the ordinary. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just getting into my own head. But it was good that, you know, I took precautionary measure. And me and a friend of mine went to the hospital, and I had the rape kit done. I'm now happy I did do that, because I did later on find out, actually through Thomas bragging about my assault. I had actually went back to the gym, because anybody knows me, you know, like I did a Savage race for the first time, which is an obstacle course race, and, you know, I like to work out. So I go back to the gym because that's my outlet. And Thomas actually made it a point to come over by where I was working out at, and starts bragging to some guys that I had let them run a train on me, and that I had him out here looking crazy. He even goes so far as to lie and say that I used to park by his car. I pretty much parked in the same spot at that gym from the time I started. And just stuff like that. So, this is a lot. I'm going to end part 2 with this. I'll continue on tomorrow with part 3. For those of you that do watch or are watching, you know, thank you. I'll see y'all tomorrow.